See, you trying to sew me up in a wow. I don't know. You know, do the math. A couple 3 year, 4 year, for 20 years. What does that add up to? 50 to 70. I'll go with that.
Okay.
Probably more.
Some of the people you killed, they could be men, they could be women, they could be kids. It was like an equal opportunity.
I didn't form a pattern as most.
Yeah, it was like anybody was fair game.
It did not matter. Blood is blood. It didn't matter man, woman, child.
Yeah, no more thrill to kill the mayor of the town than the homeless guy on the street.
No.
Quite a few times, not all the times, but quite a few times, it was a mother and a kid.
And I have an answer for that.
Okay.
And I thought hard about that because it's been like smacked up inside my head a time or two. I know what I went through as a child. The nightmares, the drama, the reality of who I was and what was done to me. I never wanted that to happen to another person. I had something against that person. And there was another person there that witnessed it. I didn't want them to carry that on their shoulder the rest of their life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you were putting out of the misery they would have had if they had to live through all that.
That's the best I can answer it.
In one case, Sells murdered an entire family, bludgeoning a pregnant woman, her 3-year-old, and her unborn baby to death.
It's the sensation of the blood. It's the sensation tying that scarf around your neck and just watching your eyes. It's the sensation seeing that skin pull apart. It's sensation sticking that knife in and just pulling and knowing it's sharp enough just go all the way up.
Was there anything different the first time when you killed a person? Was there a different rush, a different feeling?
That first one, I can still see it in slow motion. And each one after that became more...
Speeded up?
More routine. I can't find the dragon I'm chasing no more.
Yeah.
I can't find that rush, that same release of anger I felt that first time.
So there was a release of anger?
Oh, without a doubt. It's like busted a piece of glass and there's just little shivers all up in there.
Sells seemed to feed off his own anger, of which there was no shortage. He became addicted to the release of this anger, which occurred through violent means. Paradoxically for Sells, evil for him was other people.
Today, I might say, you know, Tommy, Dr. Stone, he's okay. And tomorrow I might wake up and say, you know that bastard, he tried to slide a slip one in on me. You understand?
I do. That's why there's this glass.
You think?
Bueno, en realidad, Diane Down no es una asesina serial, pero eso no se debe a falta de voluntad. En 1983, después de unas cuantas relaciones cortas, Diane por fin encontró el amor en su compañero de trabajo, Robert Knickerbocker. Sin embargo, Robert la rechazó, diciéndole que no tenía interés en ser un padre para los 3 hijos de ella, Christy, Cheryl y Danny. Posteriormente, el 19 de mayo de 1983, se detuvieron al costado de una silenciosa carretera y les disparó a cada uno de ellos múltiples veces. Luego se disparó a sí misma en el brazo y condujo al hospital más cercano. Trágicamente, Cheryl ya estaba muerta, mientras Danny estaba paralizado y Christy apenas con vida. Mientras tanto, les había dicho a los médicos que habían sido atacados por un hombre de cabeza tupida, quien había intentado robar el carro. La policía se mostró escéptica y luego de una investigación, la arrestaron el 28 de febrero de 1985.
We were just out, I guess, sightseeing, I guess you'd say. And the kids got tired. They fell asleep in the car, so I decided to just head on home. But I saw a road I hadn't been on before. We like to take back roads. And just went down that road, and there was a guy standing in the road, flagging me down, so I stopped. If I had shot my own children, would I not have done a good job of it? Why would I have taken my kids to the hospital? Wouldn't I have made sure they were dead and then cried crocodile tears? That's insane to think that I would do such a thing and then bring the witnesses in against myself. That's crazy. Christy woke up, and as I say, she may be the only one to get me out of this. Would I have brought her to the hospital? Wouldn't she be the one that I would make sure is dead? There are too many holes in it. When this man shot my daughter, my first reaction was to snap back to my childhood, to the pain that had happened to me back then, my marriage, my entrapment by society. This man was bigger than me. He was stronger than me. He had more power because he had a gun. And I stood there and I looked at Christy reaching, and the blood that just kept gushing out of her mouth. What do you do? Everybody says you sure were lucky. Well, I don't feel very lucky. I couldn't tie my damn shoes for about 2 months. It is very painful. It is still painful. The scar is going to be there forever. I'm going to remember that night for the rest of my life, whether I want to or not. I don't think I was very lucky. I think my kids were lucky. If I had been shot the way they were, we all would have died. You can't replace children, but you can replace the effect that they give you. And they give me love, they give me satisfaction, they give me stability. They give me a reason to live and a reason to be happy, and that's gone. They took it from me. But children are so easy to conceive. At night, when I close my eyes, I can see Christy reaching her hand out to me while I'm driving, and the blood just keep coming out of her mouth. And that, maybe it'll fade too with time, but I don't think so. That haunts me the most.
Quizá este sea el asesino serial más infame de todos los tiempos. Probablemente ya hayas visto la mayor parte de las entrevistas a Ted Bundy. Sin embargo, hay una grabación muy rara e inquietante que posiblemente no hayas escuchado. En dicha grabación, Bundy describe el asesinato de Georgianne Hawkins, una estudiante de 18 años de edad.
I was moving up the alley using a briefcase and some crutches, and a young woman walked down, and about halfway down the block I encountered her and asked her to help me carry the briefcase, which she did, and we walked back up the alley. Basically, when I reached the car, what happened was I knocked her unconscious with the crowbar, and I handcuffed her and put her in the passenger side of the car, and drove away. One of the things that makes it among the things that makes it difficult is that at this point she was quite lucid, talking about things. It's funny, it's not funny, but it's odd, the kinds of things people say under those circumstances. She had a Spanish test the next day, and she thought that I had taken her to help tutor me for a Spanish test. It's kind of odd. The long and short of it was that I again knocked her unconscious and strangled her. Can you hear that? The Hawkins girl's head was severed and taken up the road about 25 to 50 yards and buried in a location about 10 yards west of the road on a rocky hillside. By this time it was almost dawn. But on this particular morning, I was just absolutely, again, just shocked, kind of scared to death, shocked, horrified and I went down the road, throwing the briefcase, the crutches, the rope, the clothes, just tossing them out the window, and the crowbar, everything, the handcuffs, everything. I gotta get mad at myself a few weeks later because I'd have to go out and buy another pair. I mean, it's not comical, but that's what would happen. This was just, I was in a sheer state of panic, of just absolute horror, It's like, at that point in time, this consciousness of what has really happened is like, you break out of a fever or something, that is. And so I drove, talk about details coming back. I couldn't find one of the shoes, so I thought it was there, but it wasn't. So I went back. This was the next day. Got on my bicycle, rode back to that little parking lot. I knew there were police all over the place by that time. So I went back to that parking lot and I found both the pierced earrings and the shoe laying in the parking lot. So I surreptitiously gathered them up and rode off. So, there you are.